Welcome back. It's the Pregame Show Network. I'm Tolly Carr. He is Uncle Neely. Spring ball is wrapped, but the conversation is just beginning. We all know Shedeur Sanders, generational talent, future first-round draft pick, future top 5 draft pick. But I don't care who you are. You got to have a backup quarterback. So is Coach Prime impressed with the stable behind Shedeur Sanders, his bona fide starter? Well, let's hear what Coach Prime has to say.
I love what we are 1-2. I mean, it's hard to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's hard, man. Like, I don't think nobody has that locked down. Like, if you got 4 deep at quarterback that's really good, somebody's gonna leave. This is that day and era that somebody's gonna leave. I love what Staub has accomplished, man. I love what he did in the last game last season. I love what he's done in training camp. I'm thinking pros all the time. I love what he's done in camp, in spring ball. And you got to understand, he's going against the ones all the time. So that develops him expeditiously. But I love what he's shown me, man. He's not flinching, and I try to encourage him as much as I can, because I know it's tougher going against the ones like he's doing. And the reason I do that, because our twos, they desire to be ones, correct? Yeah, everywhere in life. So why don't you play them against the ones? You go ones was running twos versus twos. The twos are playing against twos. When they get in the game, who they playing against? Ones. So oftentimes I go twos versus ones, so I can see them compete against the next level. And I love it that way. And we're going to continue to do it that way. Great question, though, Neely.
Okay, Neely, who's on first?
You know, man, I got to say this, Tyler. Let me start with the end, because, you know, you might have missed it, Tyler Carr, with you and your brilliant questions. Coach Prime said, great question, Neely. I just want to point that out. Tyler. He ended that answer with great question.
Neely, I should have edited that out.
You always think, Tyler, you're winning with the questions. So I got to point out, Coach Prime said great question.
All right. I mean, you get enough FaceTime. I'm glad you get a compliment every now and then. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Broke clock is right twice a day, Tyler. Even the blind hole can find an acorn every now and then. Listen, Tyler Carr, you know, I asked Coach Prime that because this is the time of the portal. So I wanted to see where he was with his QB room. You know, you heard him. He likes what he has. He believes in Ryan Staub. Y'all may remember that when Shedeur Sanders was injured at the end of the season, Ryan Staub stepped in and played well, not just game manager, but made some plays, so much so that at the end of last season, Coach Prime himself said, wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Staub hit the portal, because enough people got to see what he brought to the table that he was going to be a hot commodity out there. But he has turned down, you know, the opportunity to leave, and when staying in Colorado as QB2. I went into spring training to this spring camp of April, thinking and believing that the battle for QB2 was one of the most interesting battles, you know, going into the workouts. But I tell you, Tolly, about 2 weeks in, and certainly by the end of it, the separation between QB2 and 3, or QB2 and QB4, is just wide. Ryan Staub certainly solidified that's his job, to back up Shedeur Sanders.
All right, so we know what his value will be on game day if Shedeur Sanders goes down. You need him to be able to come in, and you don't want the offense to miss a beat, or he's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. You at least want him to be able to functionally serve the offense so they can continue to move the ball and score points. We all know that. What is his value? What is his role during the week, during spring camp, during fall camp? Like, what is the value of QB2 at Colorado?
Certainly, as Coach Prime indicated, QB2 is going up against the number 1 defense. On that number 1 defense, you got Travis Hunter. And so Ryan Staub is out there facing the best that we have, facing the best in the nation. And he knows how to move the ball against that defense. And so he is working them out, giving them looks, giving them scout team reps. But he's also very cerebral in his approach. He knows the playbook. He knows the signals. So he can go into the game, you know, if needed, whether it's a play or a series, or to finish out the game. You're hoping that under Shedeur's growth this offseason, having a coordinator he believes in Pat Shurmur this offseason. You're looking forward to games where Shedeur is not playing all 4 quarters. That maybe he's coming out midway to third or certainly coming out to fourth, but you don't want to give leads back or give teams the other opportunity. So you need somebody who can go in at worst and maintain and at best advance. And I think you have that in Ryan Staub, not only what he's able to do in practice against the one defense, but what he's proven that he can do in a real live game. He's on the spot, and man, he has it locked down.
All right, Neely, I know you can't answer for Ryan, but you are Neely the watcher, and Neely knows. So when you kind of sit back and make observations about storylines, what do you think it is that he did stick around? Why didn't he say, hey, you see my tape, let me hit the portal? Any thoughts there?
Well, the one thing about the portal, as Coach Prime said in his remarks, it's hard to keep a QB 3, 4, 5 that believes they can play somewhere else. People want opportunity and people want right now. We live in the Instagram world, man. We live in instant social media contact, instant validation and verification. No one wants to compete and wait anymore. Ryan Staub is taking a different approach, I believe. And again, not speaking for him as you preface, but as I watch the tea leaves and shake the chicken bones in my hand and read them like they do it down in Jamaica, it looks to me like Staub is betting on himself, to be QB1 after Shedeur goes in the top 5 in the draft. He will have a command of the offense, have experience. He will have the upper hand on anybody coming in to compete with. So I think Staub is betting on himself for the long run. He understands that he's going to get playing time this year. If this offense moves the ball like it looks like it can move the ball, and he's going to be sitting pretty to be QB1 in next season. I think that's why Ryan Staub has not looked at transferring and is hanging around the QB2 and going, you know what? I'm going to milk this, and this job is mine.
All right, so we know the skill set that Shedeur Sanders has. How would you describe Staub's skill set for, those of us who are far away and don't get to see him practice on a day-to-day, and of course, outside of the one game, you don't get to see him a lot during the regular season?
I think Staub, checks all the boxes. He has legs, he can run. He doesn't have the height of a Shedeur Sanders and not quite the arm strength downfield, but he is indeed a playmaker. And he's also just like Shedeur, and he's a football player. Coaches don't like their quarterbacks getting tackled, but Ryan Staub ain't running away from no tackle. He will drop that shoulder and meet you in the hole if that's what it takes. I like what his approach to the game. You see him involved and engaged with the offensive coaches. You see him coaching the receivers and the tight ends, being a surrogate between he and Shedeur when they're on the sidelines. So I think his leadership is immeasurable and valuable. And I think all those things leads to him, one day being a starter in the Power 5, Power 4. I forget we're down to Power 4 now. Power 4 level. Ryan Staub has what it takes to play ball.
I would imagine the level of study that QB2 at any program, but we're talking about CU, really has to be immense, because you can't approach it like, well, I'm probably not going to go in the game, yada, yada. I mean, the things that they have to be responsible for on the sidelines, being an extension of, QB1, an extension of the coach with the rest of the team, that says a lot about a quarterback, too, anywhere across the country. Might not see a lot of playing time, but, man, they still have to put in that same amount of work.
Absolutely. I don't think there's an organization in football, pro or college, that managed the QB2 situation better than the Green Bay Packers have the past 20 years. They have had Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers under center, and the guy backing up that guy goes on to be a Hall of Fame or potential Hall of Famers with his numbers. And so you have this understudy knowing that at any moment I have to go in. So I have to know the calls. I have to know the routes. I have to be able to communicate effectively. I have to have the confidence, of the one offense, because if I go out there at a moment's notice, those receivers, offensive line, backs has to believe in me. And I think that's what you have in Ryan Staub in Colorado, is that he not only believes in himself, which is the more important thing. Coach Prime believes in him, and the team believes in him. So it's not like you get this, oh, man, here comes Staub, a game over. Like, no, it's like, here comes Staub. We still have an opportunity to win this game and close this game out, because he knows what he's doing.
I saw your interaction with him on camera during the spring game, Neely. Seems like old Staub has some swag as well. more so than me. It seems like the guy has some swag, Neely.
Yeah, and I have loved, in the past 18 months, just watching his confidence grow. And you have seen the swag and personality, come out of Ryan Staub. I don't think he blinked too hard going into that Utah game last year. Like I've said before, Tolly, a lot of times when news is news on the outside of the building, it's been news on the inside. So he wasn't shocked that he was going to play at the end of the season. He knew Shedur's situation better than anybody. He didn't fold and pack it in. He stepped up and accepted the challenge. There may have been a couple of deer in headlight moments to be expected early on, but once he settled in, he found the receivers, his swag picked up, and I think that swag is carried over the offseason and this season. He doesn't walk around the building, like he's QB2. He walks around like he's QB1A.
All right, Neely, you have the hat swag going on this week here on the platform. What's up with the Jackrabbit here?
Man, there's one thing about Neely, and it's been said before. If Neely ain't got nothing, he got some lids and he got some lenses. The shade game is going to be on point. The hat game is going to be on point. And there's nothing like a Jackrabbit. Keep on moving, baby.
All right, we will scamper out of here right here on the Pregame Show Network. Plenty of content still to come. It might be the off season, but we ain't twerking, Neely. We are working right here on the Pregame Show Network. Stick around for more content. We appreciate you hanging out with us.